My name is Corban Madzivanyika, Mbizo. Ndakaberekwa mugore ra 1985, and I'm a member of the Citizens Coalition for Change and officially the candidate for Mbizo constituency. I'm proud husband of one wife, the father of 3, 1 boy and 2 girls. So yes, this was an nature outside politics. Number 1, I run a small business. Number 2, I am a director of a Division 2 club called Pepper City Football Club. And number 3, I used to work for the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, Zimura, to start with, and this team wakanyuka kumbizo. Ndakabata zvakanyanya ndi musangano wedu kumbizo kubva mugore ra 2016 kusvika mugore ra 20 kusvika right now patiri iko zvino. I was a politician since 2006 when I joined the then MDC. So it was a passion to participate in political processes, especially political processes, they change. I've been participating for a long time, and for MP, it's a calling. That's what I want to say. It's not something that you want, but if people want you to do, then you have to respect the will of the people. It is the people who actually asked me to run for that position. And God willing, that is exactly what has happened. It is exactly what has taken us this far. Probably for the past 15 years, if I recall very well, there was Honorable Chikwinya, who has done extremely well in Mbizo. We have seen his projects for CDF, which he has initiated. We have seen a lot of progress that took place with his robust and vibrant representation in Parliament. We have seen many changes. Kubva kumusika wapa 4, kumakua ku 10, ku 19 kwaisa musika, zvakagadzirwa vakadhila zvimaboros. Yes, under the circumstances, would like to say Honorable Chikwinya did well. So to say that the opposition did nothing for the past 15 years or 20, it is actually false and malicious. What we expect for everyone right now is change in this country, considering, number 1, this government has done absolutely nothing to the people of Zimbabwe, and Mbizo included. We have seen our economy being run down to the ashes. Particularly, there is high inflation in this country, there's a lot of unemployment, people unemployed, a lot of unemployed youths end up killing each other, maiming each other, and we've got also the issues to do with social contract. There's a lot of corruption, governance in this country is so bad. So, with the values that our party has, are the values that I also embrace as a person. So I believe that I have the capacity and the audacity to represent the party in this. Number 1, our party values proper governance. A proper governance culture creates a good, conducive environment for business, a good environment for business to thrive. Number 1. Number 2, we have got values to do with the transparency. As a party, we believe in transparency. The government should be so transparent in all its activities. But with this current government, everything is opaque. Number 3, we believe in a corruption-free society as a party and as an individual. We have seen rampant corruption from gold mafia, corruption on the government tenders. A lot of corruption is everywhere in Zimbabwe. It is a cancer that has destroyed, obviously, almost everything that we have seen in this country. It is, and that same corruption comes from the top, right to the bottom. So we value a corruption-free society, and we believe that the people of Zimbabwe deserve such. Number 3, we believe in a Zimbabwe for all. Under the current regime and under the current circumstances, the Zimbabwe that we are seeing is the Zimbabwe for a few, which is not what we value. So we value for a Zimbabwe for all. Opportunities must be for all, so that everyone is accorded the same opportunity or equal opportunities in their motherland. It is not the role of the parliamentarian to create jobs, but the parliamentarian and the government's role is to ensure an enabling environment for business to thrive, so that our people get employed. Look at what happens in our motherland of Kwekwe. We have got Ziskosko, we have got Lancashire. Those big and prominent companies, they have been run down to probably nothing, and the government is not taking any initiative. So my role as a parliamentarian is to ensure that if my president gets into power, we push for an enabling environment to ensure that the business is reopened, to ensure that they do their work in a conducive environment. What is that conducive environment? An environment with stable exchange rates, environment with less volatility, environment with where interest rates are low, so that the cost of capital becomes very reasonable. So it is a holistic approach. It cannot be a role of a parliamentarian to create employment, but the role of the government itself. So as a parliamentarian, I will lobby for a government that respects property rights, a government that allows an environment that is conducive for business. The roles of a parliamentarian, in as far as I am aware, are number one, there are roles to do with the electorate. That is representation. It is the role of me as a parliamentarian to represent the people of Mbizo, to represent their interests in parliament. What do I mean? Let me give an example. It is the interest of people of Mbizo to ensure that those who callously kill people daylight or whatever the circumstances, the issue of murders in Mbizo has gone to unprecedented levels. So it is an interest for all the people of Mbizo to see that being kept or stopped. So it is my role as a parliamentary, as a representative, to ensure that I lobby for laws that make sure that stiffer penalties are given to those people who commit such acts of murders. If it means labeling Mbizo as a red spot, and if it means making sure that we lobby for a law that makes sure that stiffer penalties are given, then that's my role. I have to make sure that I fight for that, because the right to life is so sacrosanct. We can't allow people to be maimed and killed in careless abundance. So that's my representative role. Yes, there are many ways I can represent my people, to stand for my people of Mbizo, to stand for, to say a voice to parliament. I will be their voice to parliament, a conduit upon which everything else shall be taken to government. That's number one. Number two, as a parliamentarian, I need to make sure that the government is accountable to the people of Mbizo and the country in general. What do I mean? The executive arm of government, it puts plans and policies and all those into action in a day-to-day running of the country. So my role of a parliamentarian is to ensure that we put the government under check to see if they are actually following their policies, and if their policies are in line with the laws of this land. That's number one. Number two, to ensure that the policies or the policies and the government work is in accordance with the best practice of business and corporate governance. Another role of a parliamentarian is the administration of CDF, that is Constituency Development Fund. I will take from where my brother left to ensure that there is accountability in the use of Constituency Development Fund. I will go back to the people of Mbizo, ask them their area of priority and how best we can apply CDF for the development of the constituency. Role as a parliamentarian to lobby the Minister of Home Affairs to ensure that they put enough resources, enough vehicles, enough weapons to ensure that the police could carry their mandate with efficiency. That is the most important, with a lot of priorities for the people of Mbizo for now, as far as I'm concerned. Peace, stability and security is everything, my brother. Everything starts with the security. The reason why we have got a law is to ensure that there is peace and harmony in a country. So we are trying to say the justice system must try by all means necessary to ensure that peace prevails, because peace is everything. It is upon which everything else is based. When there is no peace, there is no production. When there is no peace, there is no life. When there is no peace, there is nothing actually. So peace is everything. Everything else is based on peace. It is the foundation upon which everything else can be built on. Yes, there are many neighborhood community groups who were put in place by people, residents of various areas. I recall residents of section 3 and 19, they've adopted their neighborhood watch committee, the people who try to move around at night to curb the incidents of theft. So, unfortunately, those people are not enough because they do not have the sufficient training, they don't have the sufficient weapons, they do not have an official legal mandate to take action against someone unless they are with the police. So, to be honest, we have tried some initiatives like that, the Neighborhood Watch, to try to curb the incidents of robbery and theft. There is no infrastructure to talk of in Mbizo for now. If you look at the roads, if you look at the communication lines, if you look at tower lines, if you look at, there is no infrastructure to talk of. They are potholed everywhere. The roads are not up to, they are potholed. There is no actual infrastructure to talk of in Mbizo right now. So it's a complete start, to be honest with you. There is no infrastructure because the current system, the current regime, does not prioritize infrastructure development. It is infrastructure that gives a basis upon which everything else goes. How can we have poor roads in a place where we've got Znara collecting income, collecting toll fees for development of the roads, where we have the city council collecting toll fees, collecting fees for the development of the roads? So I'm actually saying all this is blamed on the current regime who would not have the political will to improve the infrastructure in Mbizo and Zimbabwe at large. The opposition councillors, yes, they've been elected into office, but to be honest with you, they do not have the power to execute or to execute on themselves. Look at the 2013 Constitution. As of today, devolution has not been implemented. We still have a local government minister who is on top of everything. We also have the board the board from the President's office, the procurement board, which almost can authorize everything. So let me be honest with you. Our opposition councillors have been reduced to mere spectators in this thing. Yet they elected. They elected people. We thought that with the devolution, if the devolution has been properly applied or applied in Zimbabwe, we wouldn't have these problems. We would have an executive mayor who has got the full executive power to control the resources of council. As we speak right now, the mayor does not have power over the resources of the city council. Everything is authorized by the minister. It cannot be, the minister does not authorize, he may authorize. If you want to buy a tissue paper, it has to be authorized by the procurement board. So they are just leaders. They are just leaders in course. They do not have, their wings are clipped. The people who have got power with the city council, the operations, is the management in conjunction with the government, the local government minister. Otherwise, all other councillors, as much as the devolution law is not put in place, or is not applied, or is not respected, then they're not going anywhere in that regard. In terms of devolution, the law is in place already. It's up to the government in place to accept that it must be put into operation. The law is already in place. It just has to be operationalized. So that we have got independent and executive mayors who can have a clear mandate, and we have got executive power to do day-to-day running work of council business. And as such, once that is implemented, my role is to lobby as a parliamentarian, to lobby to make sure that the devolution law is applied, is allowed to. The social contract is dilapidated to extreme and unprecedented levels. To be honest with you, if you go to Mbizo clinic today, you fail to get simple drip. For your information, drip is pure water. But we can't get the drip in our local hospitals, in our local clinics, because of the existing government. They do not prioritize health of citizens. They do not prioritize the safety of citizens. Was a healthy workforce is a productive workforce. So, in that vein, I would like to tell you the truth. The infrastructure of health services, it has deteriorated to unprecedented levels. As a parliamentarian, I will lobby to ensure that government prioritizes health during the budgeting processes. I'm aware that the Minister of Finance will provide this budget. So on pre-budget meetings, we will lobby the minister to ensure that he prioritizes basic health facilities that are necessary for us not to lose people. People are dying from very silly and treatable diseases. But they die because they could not afford, number one. Number two, there are no medical facilities in our area in Mbizo. So my role as a parliamentarian is to lobby. But over and above that, I pray that our government, a new government, a people-centered government, will come in place and we arrest the situation for all the people of Mbizo and the country at large. The social contract can only be restored when there is confidence in the government. The people of Zimbabwe and the people of Mbizo do not have confidence in the current government. And as such, every action which is being done by the government is null and void. So I'm going to address that by pushing an agenda to enable our party to take charge, to take presidential power, so that we arrest the situation in a holistic manner. I have tried my best under the circumstances. We have created what teams? Soccer, what teams? We have got netball for 2 hours, but soccer, we've got what teams for soccer. We have been empowering our youth to desist from illegal activities or to desist from drug abuse. They often say that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So we're trying to make sure that the people, the youth of Mbizo, are kept doing something so that they are taken away from the incidences of drug abuse and other illegal activities in Mbizo. Everything stems from bad governance. A good governance culture enables our people to have more and more facilities which allows kids not to be involved in drugs. For example, let me explain my point. My point is as follows. If our country had a proper governance system, it means our country could have a better economy where most people get employed. Right now, you see, the majority of our youths, they finish only ordinary level, they finish advanced level, they finish university, but all came back to the society and they have nothing, pure nothing to do. And as such, bad governance has actually caused the rot that we are seeing in the youth today. So my humble submission is that as a party and as an individual, I will lobby to ensure that we have a new government led by Honorable Advocate Nelson Chamisa, so that we arrest the situation in a holistic manner, where we have the employment, where we have got low levels of inflation, where we are going to have less volatile exchange rates, stable exchange rates. Alota Kondinoa, let's vote for our President, Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Let's vote for your MP, Corban Madzivanyika. Let's vote for Triple C councillors come August 2023. I thank you.